Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining in today. We've got several items to update you on this Wednesday, I believe it is now, middle of the week. Fortunately, the sun is back out and the rain has stopped. Our thoughts and prayers are certainly with our friends to the north right now. I know Midland area is getting hit very hard and parts up that way. So I'm sure many of you know people up that way and definitely want to send them our thoughts as they try to get through this terrible flooding. So today we have a special guest. We've talked about him a little bit on the call, but we haven't had a speaker yet, and I'm very excited to introduce you to Keena McDonough, who's with USDA Rural Development. USDA, and I'll let her tell you more, but they have been a great partner in many ways to Shiawassee County over the years in a variety of fashions. And dating myself a little bit, one of the very first things that we did as an economic development organization back when we started in 2002, 2003, was actually create a revolving loan fund to support small business development. In fact, some of you may have used that program or aware of it. That was 17, 18 years ago now. But there's been a number of other ways USDA has been able to get dollars into our community, either to businesses, to communities, to housing, a lot of different opportunities. And the nice thing is, it is for rural communities. Shiawassee County is considered rural. The whole county is rural. And that does give us access to resources that are not available in the urban centers. So there's always a question, are rural areas getting their fair share? Well, through USDA Rural Development, they do their best to make sure we get our fair share in Shiawassee. So wanted to have, and we're probably going to actually have more representatives from USDA on, but Keena is here today to talk specifically about some of the community programs that they have. And I think for certainly any local government people that are on the call today, you're definitely going to be interested to learn about this. So with that tee up, I'd like to turn it over to Keena, and she can introduce herself and USDA and the programs they have to offer. Keena?
Good morning. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.
Justin said I'm Keena with USDA Rural Development. I'm one of the specialists for Shiawassee County. RD has over 40 programs. I do administer the community facilities and the water sewer loan and grant programs. Both of these programs are available to municipalities, nonprofits, and federally recognized tribes. Like Justin was saying, all of Shiawassee County is under our population limits for the community facilities program, and all but one community is eligible for our water and sewer program. Now, one of the benefits to our program is we are able to lend up to 40 years, which makes projects more realistic and more attainable for our rural communities. With rates right now as low as they are, it's a great time to start those projects. Our CF rates right now are currently 2.375%. Our water and sewer rates are between 1.375% and 2.375%. That's going to depend on what the community is eligible for. That is kind of tiered. It's going to be broken down by the median household income in the population. And we do have the poverty interest rate of the 1.375 if the community meets those guidelines and has a third-party documented concern that is going to be addressed to the project. So getting those massive projects done at rates like this is pretty significant. Our grants for our community facilities is tiered also. It's going to be based on the median household income and population. We do go off of the 2010 census. So when 2020 comes out, that'll probably take another year or two for all the information to get filtered to us. So right now we're still going off of 2010 information. We know some communities may fall under those guidelines and then meet our requirements or be more grant eligible at that time. Justin recently shared one of our flyers that we sent out. That provided a breakdown of how that tiered process is. We have quite a few communities in Shiawassee County that are grant eligible from 15 to 75%. This is going to be for equipment. Max grant request can go up to $50,000. We have funded quite a few police cars, security equipment, parts for ambulance. School. We've recently done a security project for a school, ambulance, any type of equipment. It can be bookshelves for your library. It can be any type of equipment for that, snow plows. So any of those items that you're purchasing for your communities, if you're eligible for that grant, if it's already in your budget, it's something you'll want to look into, save you some money. As I mentioned before, RD has 40 programs to support our rural communities. These are loans and grants available for not just municipalities or nonprofits, but we have them for individuals, businesses, home purchase programs, home repair programs, utility services, distance learning, telemedicine, broadband, and quite a bit more. We do have details on each of these programs on our website. Justin, I do have a guide that has a breakdown of all of our programs. It's a little packet that I can send you if you want to share that. It gives a brief summary and then some of the eligibility criteria. It's easier than going to the website and reading on each one. I did touch base with my business programs colleague yesterday to see if they have any updates. All Shiawassee County is eligible for their programs also. Some of the rural business programs, there's going to be the RBDG, some of you may be familiar with. That's the Rural Business Development Grants. Those are going to be grants that if you are doing a project that's going to boost the local economy, there's a lot of different projects that can do that, from a parking lot that's going to provide more parking for your downtown area. Sometimes some streetscape, benches, things like that. They can do equipment, signage for trails, and then they have the value-added producer grants. A lot of your smaller farmers have taken advantage of those. Wineries, for example, they're growing grapes, but their added product is the wine, so there's grants for that. And then there's also some rural energy programs. Most of their programs do have application deadlines. One was recently extended, but it did expire in April. But if you've missed any of the application deadlines, it's a good time to prepare for next year. He also did mention that they are anticipating some of the updates regarding COVID, but they're yet to be published. Our national office has developed a separate page on our website in response to COVID-19. That's where you would find any resources, not just for our current clients on what they may do if they're experiencing some hardships, but this would be some updates to application deadlines, new opportunities being released, and resources for things available from other agencies. One of the things that did just get updated was our distance learning and our telemedicine program. They didn't just extend the application deadline. They didn't want to hold up the applications that were coming in, so they actually opened up a second round of applications because they received additional funding. Those are due in July 13th. Applications for those are going to be online through grants.gov. That's another resource that you want to make sure that you have is signing up for grants.gov. You can sign up for different categories and get notifications on when things are available. I think that's about as brief as I can make all of our programs without going into detail on each. Like I said, we have 40 different ones. please check out our website and the different programs. If you have questions or concerns, you can email me. As I said, I'm one of the specialists for Shiawassee County. I'm based out of the Mason area office. If I don't have an answer, I will get the information over to somebody who does. And I'll send that summary of major programs to Justin so he can share it with everyone. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Keena. Yeah, I got a couple. I'm just going to kick it off here. So you talked about the Rural Development Business Grant. So is there significant, obviously you're talking a lot about stimulus packages and more money flowing in for different things through Small Business Administration. We heard from a speaker last week from the Economic Development Administration. Are you guys expecting a major influx of funding from Washington to help on different projects?
That we're not too sure of yet. Usually anything they're discussing in Congress, it's public. Sometimes we find out things the same time the public does. We are hoping that some of the additional funding that's going to be going out is going to trickle into our programs. But that our website in response to COVID-19 is where all of those updates are going to be. One of the ones they did extend was the value-added producer grant had an extended application time because a lot of their applications were due March, April-ish, so they extended those a little bit. But the big one was the distance learning and telemedicine. They did receive some extra funding for that to do a second round of applications. So a lot of the funds so far has gone to the SBA for immediate, and a lot of our projects are a bit more long-term. So we're hoping that eventually they'll come out so we can put some more money back into the communities through infrastructure and jobs.
Definitely. Well, and I think, specifically what you focus on with community programs, unfortunately, we're hearing now because of, the high costs associated with the virus, there's going to be major public sector cuts that are going to trickle down to our local units of government, to our local educational institutions. So it seems to me like, more than ever, what you have available in your particular program to help, let's say a local city or village with a product, either buying a police car or, something related to, the water plant or wastewater plant is more critical than ever. You said that there's basically a sliding scale for what qualifies in terms of a grant or a loan. And I don't want to put you on the spot here, but do you have any sense based on your work in Shiawassee, like what that range might look like? Is it, do communities have 15%? Do any of them get higher, 25, 50%? Do you know?
We actually do have a list of all of the breakdown. We've created a directory that tells, so we do know. And I have quite a few communities that are 15% eligible, 35% eligible, 75% eligible, and I have a couple that are 15% eligible. So there are quite a few.
Okay. In Shiawassee County?
Flyer, yes, in Shiawassee County.
Okay. Is that something that is shareable with our list too?
Yeah, I can send out a list of everyone that's on there. That flyer that I sent also has a breakdown. So if communities basically have a median household income less than $46,887, they're at least 15% eligible.
Okay.
I can send a list out to you of what communities have what percentage.
Yeah, the reason I asked that, and this won't surprise you or anybody in the call, obviously grants are always preferred to loans, and the first reaction is, well, how much of a grant can we get? So that's obviously going to be top of mind. I have one more question I want to ask before I open it up to anybody. One thing we're looking at right now is there, with your specific program, is there any opportunity for use of these dollars to be able to construct publicly owned buildings that could be leased out, not sold, but leased out to private business? Is that something that is eligible under your program?
For grant-wise, we don't, but we do have the CF loans.
Okay. All right. That's that. The reason I asked that is we had our representative from the Economic Development Administration on a call last week, and one idea that was floated was we have a challenge, and some of the listeners know this. We have a challenge in a lack of available, particularly industrial building space here in the community. So the idea was possibly their grant program, could be used to help build some industrial space if the unit of government owned it. And so I wondered if USDA might have that same availability. It sounds like it would have to be a loan.
Yeah, I can check with my business colleague, and see what they have.
Okay.
My call.
Okay, that sounds good. So I don't want to monopolize the conversation. I just wanted to make sure I asked those things. Does anyone have any questions? And once again, Keena, you focus on community development, but as you said, if someone wants to access other parts of USDA, they can talk to you and you can get them in touch with the right person. So does anybody have any comments or questions for Keena? Hit *6 on your phone. Anyone have any comments or go ahead. Did I hear somebody?
Maybe not. Rich.
Go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
Just wanted to make sure we got contact information on Keena. Can we? Phone number, email.
We'll email that. But Keena, do you want to give that to Rich right now and to the whole listening group?
Yeah. So my phone number is 517-883-6158. My email is Keena, KINA, .McDonough, that's MCDONOUGH, at USDA.gov.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rich. Any other comments or questions from anybody? I think what we're hearing here, obviously, once again, Keena, you cover community programs, but basically you guys have a program for almost anything. Not all grants, a lot of loans, but there's almost something for anything. So if you're a business, if you're a government, if you're a nonprofit, there's probably something there. So I would definitely encourage connecting, and I know, Keena, you're going to send me that document listing all the programs, and we'll share that to the whole list. So other comments or questions? Hit *6. Okay, well, Keena, thank you for joining us, and we may at some point have one of your colleagues, maybe Tracy Smith, who heads up the business division, if you will, for you guys. We may have her on a call, but please, if you are interested, check your emails. We'll be sending that out here soon. And thank you, Keena, for your time and the great work, not only you're doing through this crisis, but for the long-time support you've provided here to Shiawassee County.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, got a couple of things I want to cover real quick for everybody. I just emailed out this morning to you more details on a program that is available to Shiawassee County entrepreneurs. We talked about this on a call the other day. as part of our growing relationship with our economic development friends in Lansing, the Lansing Economic Area Partnership. We have been offered the opportunity to participate in the Hatching business plan competition. So it's essentially a Shark Tank deal, but it's a great opportunity for local entrepreneurs that basically have an idea and they want to try to get some money to get that idea off the ground. It's a chance to compete Shark Tank style against other folks in Ingham, Clinton, and Eaton County to win dollars. So I sent out some additional information. What's it all about? How do I get involved? The whole process. They're actually running another competition starting in June. They're going to have several of them this year. But if you have something, take a look at that email, or if you know an entrepreneur that has an idea and needs some capital, something they definitely want to probably check out. I believe the total amount of money that can be won is, $2,000. So, nice little chunk of change for somebody that's trying to get an idea off the ground. So definitely something you want to take a look at. A couple of more funding programs. I also sent an email out on this yesterday. This was actually from our Michigan Economic Development Corporation friends. A group actually out of Flint, Metro Community Development, they received $2 million in appropriations from MEDC to support micro and small business loans. So trying to get more details on it right now. In fact, I just got an email connection to them. So I'm going to be looking at more of that. But just another pot of money, not a grant pot. I want to be clear about that. We've been talking about some other new grant programs. This one is a loan program, but it looks like it's going to be something that could be available for other types of usage that you need. So I'm looking at it here, being able to use it for things like working capital, M&E, inventory, $5,000 up to $250,000. So as I said, I sent out an email on it yesterday. We're going to get some more information, maybe have a speaker on it, possibly even next week. So more to come there. The other item that was in that same email, actually sent out a couple of them yesterday, exporting. So we had Jacob Schrader from MEDC on a few weeks ago. This is he's their international trade guy for our area. They have more money, more resources available to support companies who are either wanting to grow exports or if you want to get into exporting. And that could be as close as Canada. It could be anywhere around the world. They have grant dollars available to help with that. So I sent that out. I also sent out a note about some resources available through the federal exporting program, the U.S. Commercial Service. So if anybody on the call is in exporting and wants to grow it, or you want to get into it and you haven't been into it, there are resources to be able to help you through that. So please talk with us about that. A few more items, a couple of webinars coming up. Talked about this a couple times this week and last week. Tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, 10 a.m., we will have a webinar on PPP loan forgiveness. Top of mind for many of you on the phone, making sure you turn that loan into a grant. We're actually having, I'll call it a regional webinar. I am going to be involved. We're going to have a speaker from the Small Business Development Center. A few of my economic development peers across the region are going to be involved as well. So you're going to want to join us for that. I emailed out an invitation already on Monday, but I have a link to that webinar now, how you can access it, and that will be going out yet this morning. So I want to definitely let you know, if you are in that period where you're trying to make sure you get your loan forgiven, this is something definitely you want to make time for tomorrow. It's going to be from 10 to 11 tomorrow. One other webinar coming up on Friday this week. I also sent this out to you via email. Our state association, Michigan Economic Developers Association, is doing a webinar on how the virus is going to affect municipalities. So this is, once again, for any city official, township official, village, county official on the call. Something you might want to jump on and learn more about. We're going to have some good speakers for that. So, Jody, I know you have a couple things. Do you want to touch on those real quick?
Sure. We obviously tell everybody about the SBDC webinars that are coming up. There is one today that Justin, I believe, has already sent information about. It's at 2 o'clock, and it has to do with reopening your business from an HR perspective. So if you need the HR perspective on what you need to do, this would be the one that you want to attend. And then there is another, there's a U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation webinar on Thursday at 3 o'clock that will cover reopening your business, and it gives examples, some of the things they'll cover, social distancing, sanitization, how to create a healthy environment for your employees and your customers. Justin, I believe, also sent out a link to that earlier in the week, so you can click to register through that link as well. And those are the two I know of this week.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Jody. That's pretty much it. I'll just close with the three things I've been closing with. Testing. If any of you need testing, we have a great local option with Memorial Healthcare. Can offer virus testing and antibody testing. Check out their website or give them a call, 720-2131, if you want to have that for your workers. PPE, we've sent out that list. Jody's updated that list. And actually, I should send that out again. We've added a company to it that can offer products or services. I've heard from folks, boy, we need some masks, we need some gloves, we need some hand sanitizer, face shields, we need our temperature screening. So we have people that can do that. If you need a copy of that list, let me know and we'll get that to you. And then jobs, of course, I've been posting quite a few jobs on social media. Companies in the process of hiring right now. If you have anything you'd like us to promote, please let us know. So as always, a lot going on. Here to help you guys however we can. Does anybody have any questions before we wrap up? Hit *6 on your phone. Any questions? Okay. Well, once again, everybody, thanks for making time. We will be back tomorrow. Thanks.